Hi guys, welcome back on my channel. Dorota International Nail Artist and Educator here. And today we are going to do some one-stroke flowers with the acrylic paints. Have a preview of them here. Absolutely fantastic, and I love this technique. I hope you will love it too. So let's start. I actually cannot wait to place those flowers into this background, but first of all I will show you how to create this background. So we will use some blue and green, that's a 237 turquoise actually. So I want some blue like in a random kind of way, and then I want the turquoise 202 again in a kind of random way. You don't want these colors to be too strong, and then we are going to use the ombre brush to kind of smudge it a little bit. So I'm just cleaning it and then just smudge it on my tip. So this way you kind of even create like maybe not even ombre but some sort of ombre. Okay, and then cure it. I love those kind of quick backgrounds for the designs because in the salon especially we don't have as much time to create the things, but also we want to make them look nice and pretty, so this is fantastic way to create a quick background. Okay, we have got another one and then cure it. Once they cured, we can take a blooming gel and a drop of the white gel polish, so 173 on the side. And then my first tip. Tiny bit of the blooming gel. Do not place too much of the blooming gel at the edges of the tip. And then the D-liner brush and pick up like a really large scoop of those white gel polish and do some sort of swirly, not swirly, like a line pattern like this. You can see it, I'm really not fussy at all what I'm painting, just some sort of kind of leafy parts, and then leave it to spread. Like the longer you leave it, the nicer, more interesting background you will get. Do it on another one. And then here I'm going to go a little different direction and slightly smaller. Just really random and fast. Again, I'll leave it to spread. To be honest, it looks quite nice even on its own, without of adding anything to it. You can see it, how nicely it starts to spread. It's almost create like a wee leaf flower design. Can you see it, cameraman?
Yeah.
Can you?
Leaves again.
Leaves again, yeah. I love leaves. Come on, this is summertime coming in. And then this one, yeah, I like it as well. Like I can see there is a nice things happening in there, so we can give it a cure. Okay, next step. So let's start cleaning my mixing palette because we have to swap it to the acrylic paint. So I want to remove everything from it. We don't need that. And at the same time, we are gonna top coat our design. So we cannot paint with the acrylic paints on top of the gel polish. We have to top coat it. And again, this question will probably come up.
Why you can't?
Why? Because the acrylic paints is a different product to the gel, and they don't mix nice. Like the paint would, I don't know, get kind of stuck in the inhibition layer of the gel polish. Also, the blooming gel quite often adds a little bit of uneven or a thicker surface, and I don't like the surface, so I like to top coat it and then buff it. So this tip has been top coated, and I already started buffing it. I didn't buff it completely, so just a couple more scratches. Here we are, and then we've got one ready. Grab the other one and then buff this one too. So I'm also removing the bulk of the blooming gel. And I choose the blue background, so it kind of looks a bit like a sky and the turquoise green. So it looks kind of a bit like leaves. I love this one actually. It's so nice on its own. Really pretty. I think this is even better than the marble, to be honest, because it kind of has some sort of design in it, like a marbly design. Okay, above this one. Now, you guys often ask me also a question, do I use the same brushes? Can you use the same brushes for a gel and acrylic paints? Yes, you can. You have to just, ideally it's better if you've got a separate set, yeah? But, you know, like, especially on the beginning when you started, it's impossible to own every single product and like a double set of the brushes, so you could clean in between. And if I'm swapping the brush from the gel to the acrylic paint, I would clean it with the UV cleanser to remove as much of the gel as possible, and then I would kind of dip it into acrylic paints and let the brush soak in the products we are swapping with. So I keep doing it a couple of times until I'm happy. Now we've got a drop of the water in here, and the paints which we are gonna use, that's the acrylic paints. I love painting with the acrylic paints. I think it gives an amazing nail art. So I have just opened it up, squeezed out a tiny bit of the white, and then the other color we want to go for is some pink. So let's grab some pink, and then I want the magenta. I do really like painting with magenta. I would say this is my favorite choice for the flowers. Here I have used the same combination with a drop of yellow. That actually looks nice as well. But now let's stick with those three paints, and then we are going to use the master brush. So that's a 1-stroke level 2 brush, and it's tiny, like it's really tiny. So I have brought in a little bit of water into my brush, so the paint becomes like much easier, like a more creamier consistency. Then pick up the paint on 2 sides of the brush, and then we are going to start blending those colors nicely in. So like blend them in. So depending on the 1-stroke I'm painting, like sometimes I'm going like and I'm smudging the colors really strongly. Oh no, I damaged my nail. And sometimes I do keep them kind of separate. So let's start painting a first petal. So first petal starts like low, touch with the brush, then go to the top, touch with the brush, go to the bottom, and we're creating like a petal like this. Another one. I tend to lift my hand quite often from the tip, just so I can control where I'm painting. Little paints. And then this one. And another one which is just tiny on the side. Okay, so we have created like a wee small flower. Clean my brush. And then let's do another one. So another petals are going to go on the side, and they are going to be half open. I'm painting the top part. Got not enough white on this side of the brush. And then paint another 2 in here. So 1 and 2. Then as I'm going higher, I'm painting another ones. 1, 2, and then another one. Pick up more paint. Once you start feeling that your brush goes dry, just introduce a little bit more water into it. So more water in, make my brush nice and flat. And now we are going to add the second row of the petals in this one and a wee tiny one there. Okay, close them. So my white touches white, and then I bring the paint down the way. Leave some empty space and come up. Same in here. And then pick up more paint. Close this one and close that one. We can squeeze one more. Another one. And another one. And the one on the top. Okay, I'm quite happy with this one. Don't want to overdo it. That's a very simple flower design. Or maybe I will do. She says don't want to overdo it, and then she keeps painting. I will do just a wee petal on the side in here. Fantastic. Now we are going to go to the detailer brush. Lots of water in and those magenta color to color this space there. Don't overdo it, just in some places. Clean the brush. White, lots of water in, like really as much water as you can produce. Clean the brush, and then we are going to paint just with the tip of the brush to highlight some of those places. And I don't want to introduce any more colors into that design, so we are going to do everything with this two colors. We can also separate some of those petals here. And do the tiny wee dots. Only in those two flowers, because the rest of them are still close. Place it on the side. On this one, I want to use the space which we have created in here, so this looks kind of like a leaves. And we will place maybe 3 bigger flowers and then a wee tiny ones. So again, I actually gonna lighten up my color for the bottom one. So I dip it in my brush also in a pink. And I'm doing a mixture of those magenta, pink and white. My brush is too dry. Bring more water in. Sometimes you really don't want to rush those things, like you really want to take your time when loading the paint. And I'm using, if I've got quite a lot of water, I usually use the same place to pick up the paint. Okay, so this one is on the bottom, and the one on the bottom can be always much larger, bigger. In those empty space, I'm starting the next petal. And the next one. So look what I'm doing. I'm placing the paint in, give it a little wiggle, and then I'm lifting my hand up. And we've got another one. One more. This one is not going to be fully visible. And now we can start painting the smaller ones. Again, bring some water in. And another one. Yeah, so we can still see those wee leaves from underneath. You can see the paint is quite wet in there, so I cannot touch it. But what I'm gonna do it is I will do another layer of the petals inside this one. You could see it, my paint didn't go nice and smooth. That means it's a time to introduce a little bit more water. And then go and fix it. I'm always placing those smaller petals in between the large ones, just like this. Okay, let's close the ones which are on the top. So quite straight brush. I've got a bit too much of the white in there, so clean it, make it neater. Probably too dry again. Not bad, almost there. And then close the ones on the top. Now I have went with this one on the top, I have break the petal which I had in there, so with the tip of the brush let's fix it. There we are. And I'm happy with this one, just a couple of dots and we've got another one finished. Usually I find that I cannot paint nice dots with the dotting tool because they are microscopic dots. But dots are very damaging for the brushes. You cannot put any pressure in there. Highlight some bends of the flowers. So I usually highlight like one side, this one there, to join the things together. Same in here. We need to join these things together. Here is a separate petal. We can even highlight the one on the top. Now on this one, I still can place a couple of the dots inside. Happy with this one as well. So let's start top coating them and then we can paint the last one. But so the things goes together, I will be kind of keeping a similar idea for this design. So the background comes to life, really nice and interesting, and then the flowers itself, they become more realistic and live once we put the top coat. The one strokes always look so much nicer. I actually love them, like such a delicate design. Next one. So that should be all dry, and that's the reason why I prefer painting with the acrylic paints compared to the it almost looks like gladiolus flowers a bit, because they are drying on the air. I mean, it has disadvantages and advantages, because like the paints which I have squeezed out in here, they've got a limited lifespan. So the longer I will, like you can see, this one is already dry here. You can scrape it off quite easily, but if you want to paint longer, sometimes you would take a drop of the water and you would just, like this one is already quite dry. See, I cannot even pick up this paint until I would open it up. So sometimes I would introduce a little bit of water into those paints, otherwise they would dry completely. Okay, let's do another one. So here because the leaves kind of go that way, this is the way how I would place the last flowers. So again, pick up my mixture, and the first one I'm blending the colors quite strongly together, so they are not as separated. Like I don't want to separate them too much. You can see it, they are there is not much of the white which is separated like on the ones which are on the top. Okay, first one. And to personally, I prefer those kind of mixture when the flowers aren't separated as much. No flowers, the paint isn't separated as much. I wanted it kind of blended more together. I feel it's more real than just like two colors which are so strongly separated. And obviously on the client, yes, I can twist the hand any direction as well if it's necessary. I would do that too. Usually I do it in only maybe 1 or 2 times when painting on the client. So those on my nails, I had to twist my hand in different direction as well. Now here I've got the colors more separated from each other. Now this is the biggest mistake I could do when painting the petals. I have dragged the paint down. When you painting, you want to finish in the same place you started. So when I'm painting it, I want to lift up my brush straight. I don't want to go and do this. It's a completely different shape of the petal. And I find that this is the most common mistake. Like, so when I'm running a classes and I've got the students in, this is the most common mistake. They would do it. I'm gonna show you on the side of the tip what I mean. So they will go like this. Okay, don't do that. Now, if you do mistake with the one stroke paints, I love it because you can just take either a baby wipe or a tiny bit of the blue scrub and just clean it off. That's also why I'd like to paint it on the surface which is buffed, because we can remove any kind of mistake. You can even remove the mistake which would be done like inside the flower, as long as so I always wait like for the first layer of the paint to dry before I'm adding any more petals. And if I do mistake on those fresh petals, you can quickly wipe them off before they dry, so you don't have to do any pressure, you just quickly wipe them off and that's it. So here another petal, and the ones which are underneath, because they are so dry, it is gonna take a couple more scrubs of the wipe to remove them. That's why it's so easy to remove it. Empty space in here, like very tiny, almost no pressure on my brush. And the one on that side. Just the tip of the brush if I want to paint very tiny. More definition on the colors for the top ones. And you can also, guys, please hit the share buttons, like pretty please, so the others can see it, how to paint one stroke flowers. This is a technique where you can get really addicted to. It's produced always an absolutely fantastic results, like. And like you can see it, I've got on my nails, oh cameraman, roses in addition with some angel pigment, and it looks pretty, like you don't need a lot of art in there. And one strokes looks also quite complicated when it's done, but once you get hang of it, you will really find it is not as even as long to paint. Like the other day I was doing a client nails, she had natural nails with some fiber gel in a bottle. We have done just a base color. I didn't have to apply even any gel polish, and we have just painted the entire set of the nails. On every single nail we have painted some flowers. I'm actually got it, I didn't record it. They turned it out so unbelievably pretty, and my clients was very happy with the nails for holidays. So it is a quite quick and easy way to do the nails. The entire set with every single nail painted like with roses, like kind of, that's why I also got roses on mine, because I love this set so much. The one I did it for a client, so she had roses on every single nail, and we done the rebalance on those fiber gel. It took me an hour and a half, which was, I would say, for the nail which is like every single nail is painted, quite good time. And also that's why I wanted to do it on my nails as well. Okay, this one is, I'm not going to add anything more into that because I love it the way it looks. So let's just top coat it. Always make sure you wait those couple seconds before you top coat it. Oh, come on, blooming gel. And then let's see it, how this one looks, fully finish it. Awesome, like a really awesome results. I'm going to show you all three of them. And also the brushes, the paints I have used, they all available on our website, and we do post, guys, internationally, so you can order it, doesn't matter where you live. So this one I'm gonna place in here, this one is gonna go here. Yeah, it looks almost like gladioli flowers. I need to plant them in the garden as well. I love how they look when they flower, and they flower for a pretty long time as well. And then this one in here, oh, they almost looks like they join together. I love it. I do really love it. This delicate and pretty set of the nails with interesting background. I'm sending you huge glittery hugs, and bye for now.